Okay, we are live once again. Welcome back, welcome back. I once again continuing on reading through Carl von Clausewitz's On War and Monumental work. We're still in chapter 1. Today we're going to talk about 3 specific sections and what things we can get out from it. As you can see, I've prepared a short PowerPoint presentation based on the insights because it would just be way too difficult to grasp it without some written text to back it up. This was a very content heavy section to read, but I think we got some beautiful takeaways out from it. So let's have a look, shall we? So basically the chapter 1 is called What is War? And I read sections 8, 9, and 10. Section 8 is, it doesn't consist of a single instantaneous blow. 9, the results in war is never absolute. And 10, the probabilities of real life take place of the conceptions of the extreme and the absolute. That sounds very weird, but don't worry about it. I'm gonna turn this into like more business speak, like closer to the modern day context, something that should be far more understandable. In your case, I can summarize that this is all about commitment, like on a personal and an organization level, and whether we should go all in or not in the commitment. So if you're still on board with that, then let's get going. So there were 3 themes that emerged from the text. And the first theme was, quite surprisingly, Texas Holdem. Then I saw that marketing campaigns were hiding in there. And finally, we also got something called the attention economy. Now, let me tell you in a bit more detail what this means in practice and how these 3 relate to what von Clausewitz is referring to when he talks about 19th century warfare from the Napoleonic era. So, what's Texas Holdem, or what's rather the comparison between Texas Holdem and what von Clausewitz writes? I'm not going to go through the game rules, but let's say it's a type of poker where there are multiple players who play against each other, and there's bluffing and all of that kind of stuff involved. If you want to see a practical example, there's a movie called James Bond Casino Royale that you can go watch. It has, I think you will get a very good idea of what is going on. It was a big hit a few years ago. Anyways, in Texas Holdem, just like what Clausewitz wrote, in Texas Holdem there is multiple sets of engagements between 2 or more players, or actors, or enemies. And as the game progresses, the players keep calculating odds, and they have to decide if this round is a round where they will commit with their resources or not. And of course, one of the features of the game is to bait the opponent into an unfavorable engagement where the odds are on your side, and you bait them to commit as many resources as possible into that engagement so that they lose them. And failure in these engagements basically means that you lose your chips, you lose your resources. And the idea of the game is, of course, to drain the other players of their chips and get them on your side. And the big question we always have to ask in Texas Holdem in each round, if we will commit to this round with more chips, or if we will just pay the minimum or withdraw. It always goes back and forth, and just like Clausewitz is referring to with multiple actors, Texas Holdem is a living game where you can't like act in a vacuum. You always have to sort of look at what you have and see what the other players are doing and then react accordingly. You can't play it in Texas Holdem in theory. You have to play it in practice where people are on the table juggling with what they have. And if you want to practice Clausewitz, funnily enough, if you've ever played Texas Holdem, then you have already experienced Clausewitz in practice. And if you want to try it, your hand at it, look up the rules and invite a few friends over or your colleagues and then have a go. Okay, so if you understand Texas Holdem and the idea, then you sort of understand what Clausewitz is aiming at in a modern context. Now, how does this carry into business? Well, the closest point of contact I could see was in marketing campaigns. And let me explain what I mean here. Let's take any industry where there are competing businesses. Now, they have a certain set of customers out there who can potentially buy their offer, their service. There's always this like competition between these businesses and what offers they have. And a business must be aware of what their competition is doing, and they must be aware of what level of offer they have and what standards have been introduced. Like if people expect to be like served in this way, then that sort of have become a standard assumption of how businesses just do it in this industry. And well, you must take this into account, or well, you're gonna get review bombed with bad reviews. People have expectations and standards, and you must be able to meet them and hopefully also exceed them. So once you're aware of what the competing offers are in the market, then you need to figure out if you can manage with that, manage with less, or if you need to exceed the competition. You do market research, you become aware of what's out there, then you design your offer according to what you're aiming for, you roll it out on the market, and then you put in effort to make sure that you get leads and the sales that you hope to get, because that's the lifeblood of the business. You have no sales, you have no money coming in, and the accounts are in red, you're bleeding money, and eventually you go under. So you have to manage to tackle that. So once you are on the market, what do you have to do to win the war for customer attention? This sort of is a lead up to the attention economy. But since like there's only so much time in a day for any single one of us, what do we use those hours on? Where do we direct our attention? Who has our attention? So, and we must somehow manage to get that attention, and that's where businesses usually deploy marketing campaigns, content production, ad campaigns, billboards, what have you. And once a person gets in contact with the material, you have the opportunity to snatch that attention. And once you have the attention, then the big question is, how can you capitalize on that with a follow-up? That's also something Clausewitz is talking about later in the book. When you have gained a victory, how do you follow up that victory to sort of gain something out of it? It's not much different in marketing, really. You can't just expect this stuff to happen. You have to get the attention of people, and then you have to follow that up. That's really Clausewitzian in a way, and it's interesting how the relationship once again emerges here, that the contents of the book are relevant in the modern business context. And failure, perhaps in the marketing sense, would be that you get the negative return on investment. For example, if you have an ad marketing budget of like 10,000 euros, that you don't manage to convert that into sales, or that you don't actually manage to get any useful marketing data out of your ad campaign. So you basically throw resources, money down the drain. Clausewitz talks about more like engagements and you losing resources in that engagement. And this is not much different, really. You pour resources into a marketing campaign and you either gain something out of it, or then you lose the effort and you don't get what you were seeking for. And well, there are tons of stories out there about money thrown down the drain on something that didn't work as the business management wanted. So when doing your own marketing campaigns and ads and efforts, what are your goals? What do you hope to achieve? Be aware of that, and then you are thinking along the lines of Clausewitz. So, and finally, the attention economy. Like what, and let's talk a bit more about that. So what is a business trying to do on the market? Well, serve clients. Okay. And how can a business get the opportunity to serve clients? Well, it obviously has to get the attention. Okay. So, and how is attention gained? Well, through marketing, basically sending messages out there and getting in front of people's eyes. And is attention a limited resource? It is, because there's only so much time we have in a day, and there could be so many other things we could be doing. So why should anyone bother to engage with the marketing content that you are producing? How do you grab the attention? And once you have it, how do you get to keep it? And since, of course, there's a competition for the same eyes, so if you put out ad campaigns, pay for ads, then you're in a bidding war probably for that little spot where your ad could be going. It could be your ad, or it could be a competitor's ad. Or if your ads are right beside each other, perhaps product placement in a grocery store, what makes the potential customer pick your thing over someone else's? That's a good question, and well, it's a whole industry, and well, lots of marketing professionals out there. I'm sure you have many ideas what that could be. So, for example, and now since you're here watching this video, what are you doing right now? Do I have your attention? Well, if you are watching this right now, then I have it. And the big question that I'm going to ask you is, did you learn something from this live? And do you think it was worth your time? If you think it was worth it or insightful, make sure to give it a thumbs up so that we get this video to spread elsewhere. I'm sure there were many people out there who would benefit seeing this. And then drop a comment and let me know what you think. Was there something that could have been added, or do you disagree? Disagreements are always great. That's a great beginning of a conversation. And remember to follow and to also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you happen to see this recording later on YouTube. That's all for now. Thank you for your attention. Have a great evening, and I'll be back with another Clausewitz video sometime in the not so distant future. Take care and have a great evening. Goodbye.